and boom goes the dynamite.
Hello and welcome to Daily Dive, the only Monday through Friday live lacrosse talk show. I am your host, Michael Carvelis. Let's get ready to rumble. I hope you enjoyed week 17 as much as I did. And it's time to see what we're going to talk about on today's show. Our top story will be NLL week 17 attendances. We have the exact numbers the teams provided to the league. See, unlike the league who tries to steal what we're doing here, which I do respect and appreciate, and I'm very humbled by these accusations and allegations. Wrong words to use there. But we want to show you what the numbers are because they don't show the numbers. They just say, oh, well, these guys did pretty good. Okay, well, what did they do? We'll talk about that in our top story. Also, Fanatics segments in segment 2, we'll talk about week 17 and what happened or what didn't happen for some teams. And also our last brew by B-Rez Coffee Company will be our 3 stars of the weekend. So let's get right into it with our top story presented by our store. Go to Daily Dive Lax on Twitter. Click the bio. Click the link in our bio. You can go there and check out the awesome merchandise like the shirts that I ordered and you guys saw on the show last week. We also have awesome beanie. And we've got more for you, including, I believe, Daily Dive sticker. I think I added that. Yeah, we do. Daily Dive store. Check it out. It's time for our week 17 attendances, and here they are. Scrolling across the bottom of your screen, Philadelphia Wings had 9,800 people there. Saskatchewan Rush had 8,400. Vancouver, 7,837. New York Riptide, 5,907. Vegas Desert Dogs, 5,430. Seals at 4,388. And, of course, Panther City, contending with college basketball, got 2,104. So a couple of numbers stand out to me. And the first one being Saskatchewan still got 8,408 butts in seats in a game where people are probably losing the season at this point on this team. The Saskatchewan Rush are now 5-8. But check this little nugget out. I know we're going to get to this in the next segment here. But did you know if the Rush beat Vancouver and Colorado and Philly lose this weekend, Saskatchewan's in a playoff spot? I mean, yeah, you don't control your own destiny. You haven't helped yourself, Alex Bouquet. But hey, not a bad deal. But hey, the fact that there's still 8,400 people there, I can respect. Vancouver, 7,837 is still incredible when you watch those games, how those fans are engaged. I know they have the new mascots, but the fact is they're doing something right over there. And the league can learn a lot. People around the league, teams around the league can learn a lot from what Vancouver is doing with 7,837 people, and they might have been shortchanging themselves. New York Riptide are almost at 6,000, and I would expect that considering the game that we saw featured Lyle Thompson against Jeff Teat. Favorite of Lyle Thompson, we'll talk about that later. Desert Dogs might be some liars this week. They might be the Pinocchios of the week. 5,430 people may not have been accurate. I saw some people speculate 4,000. We might have also seen around the 48 to 500 mark, 4,800 to 5,000 mark. Whatever it is, that's on them. You're saying Vegas works colluding with stuff and behind the scenes they're manipulating things? I had no idea. I thought the city known for gambling. I had no idea they did that. I'm kidding. The San Diego Seals, I feel like shortchanged themselves. I know they play in a small arena, as some people say. But for a game that featured the Seals and the Bandits, I felt like they did pack it out pretty good. I feel like I've seen them have a bigger number than that. But 4,388 isn't bad. Albany, oh my God, they played the Rock so well and no one saw it. I think that number's inflated too. Panther City, 2,104, maybe. The only thing I'm concerned about is when teams do lie, because you know what happens. Because if they have the self-report, some teams might say, well, we don't deserve to have a team taken away from us. But the thing is, why lie? Well, let's say our speculation on the show is true. Is it why? Like, what would be the profits of lying? To just keep your team in town? I don't understand it. I know we've had people push back on the show, like professionals, that have said, "Well, we promote the game well." I mean, if I'm watching this on ESPN Plus and I can clearly see 1 week you said this and 1 week you said that, and it looks like that and this, that's wrong. Like we gotta talk about that here. Like, we're trying to bring awareness to the game by also not being a bunch of Pinocchio long-nosed liars. Okay, so let's watch out for that. What we do here. I think personally that Vancouver has some of the best fans. Saskatchewan does too. We knew this. But I think the league is growing. It seems to be these numbers are growing. And you watch the games, it seems that more people are coming to the games. I expect Vegas to keep on improving. So I hope they do. Again, if you think they chopped about, if you think they added about 500 people onto that's fine. I'm down with that. Jordan Swarm tell me that 9,000 people are at their games every single week. I don't know if that's true, but next week we get Lyle Thompson against Jeff Teens. I'm assuming if it's capable of doing this, I'm assuming the number we're going to see next week is 10,000. I'm just saying it seems like that's logical to conclude with their numbers always being magically at 9,000 and never anything less. It feels like Georgia hosting the Riptide on ESPN News is going to be a big deal. We'll see. Not sure. When I come back to what happened in those games, like we can talk about numbers all day long. I'm a nerd, but some of you guys aren't, okay? So we're going to talk about the league and what happened, like Seals almost going 2-0. The Rocks struggling with a really bad team, and more, like Desert Dogs and Nighthawks in a weird state of affairs. We'll be right back. This is the Daily Dive here on Twitter, YouTube, and all the great places. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Daily Dive here on Monday, March 27th, 2023. We are live from Georgia talking lacrosse because that's what we do in this state. It's 12:09 p.m. Eastern Time. If you are watching live, thank you for that. It's time for our Week 17 review presented by Fanatics. So what you got to do is you got to go to Fanatics and you got to check out with us. You got to shop your NLL merchandise. The official merchandise. See, what teams try to do, and it really makes me kind of angry, is the teams will like do all these auctions for like certain jerseys, like a certain number of jerseys. And I'm like, why? Like, I just retweeted something on the Daily Dive accounts on Twitter at Daily Dive Lax that, maybe, I retweeted the Rochester Nighthawks, the Blackout Night t-shirt on pre-sale. Like, I want to buy some of these things. I like to waste my money on sports merchandising. When I cannot do that, I'm very upset. This one looks like you can actually buy it. I'm not sure. I've not clicked on that yet. It might be a scam. No. But I would like to think that like a lot of these things that we auction off would sell a bunch. And maybe that's just me. But oh well. So let's get to Week 17. Go to Fanatics, by the way, through our link tree. Let's get to the first game that happened. It was the San Diego Seals in the first of two games for them this weekend. They played Panther City. Panther City's been tough. And I told you guys, if there was one game that San Diego was going to get up for this weekend, it unfortunately was not the second game, which the league stupidly decided to put knowing what happened in the offseason after this game. This was a Western Conference game. So what we got was 17-9. Seals got the win in Dallas, Texas, in front of how many people did they say? 2,104. So I guess it was easy to communicate on defense. I don't know. Westberg, a candidate for our 3 stars of the week here, had 10 points, including Westberg had 3 goals and 7 dimes. Great job for Wes. That's 70 cents, my boy. That works pretty good. But good job. I mean, San Diego jumped on them early. They were up 5-1 at the end of one quarter, and then they dropped 8 in the second. How do you drop 8 goals in one quarter alone? Like, literally, the goalie for Panther City, Nick DeMood, is not a bad goalie. And you know what's also crazy about the Seals game? The first one is that Chris Origlieri played the first game. Okay, so what's crazy about this is they almost went back to back, and I'll talk about the next game that they did right after this one. But for this game, you can get Chris Origlieri again, like a goalie you haven't pulled in like 3 weeks, I believe. Like, I believe Frank Giuliano's been doing the last 2 or 3 games, if you don't include the one against the Bandits. But you put Chris Origlieri in this game, so the next night, because the NLL wants to screw good teams and teams in general, you got the Chris Origlieri effect, hold the Panther City team to 9 goals while your offense explodes with 8 second quarter goals. And then Frank Giuliano shows up the next game. So what happens in the next game? Well, the Buffalo Bandits are in town. And for the most part, you heard it multiple times on the broadcast, Cooper Perkins, friend of this show, great friend with a great smile. That's weird. We know that Frank Giuliano he said that Frank Giuliano was having the game of his life. Called the game of his year, game of his life. He had not done a lot this week. But when Matt Vince dropped 49 saves, Frank Giuliano had 37, and that's pretty good. And Frank almost had them in position to win until he didn't, because, of course, Steve Priolo, the team captain, had other plans. Ian McKay, 5 more loose balls for himself. Adam Bomberg was activated for this game. Remember, he was traded, I believe, from Albany to Buffalo, and they activated him from the injured reserve list, so that was pretty cool. Dane Smith had a casual 1 goal, 4 assists, is what he does. Josh Byrne, 3 goals, 1 assist. So great job for Dane and Josh, and they needed to step up, and they did. Frank Giuliano was on his game, but Matt Vince said, not even more so. Absolutely insane. As for the other games that happened besides the Seals games, The Rock really struggled with Albany in the first game that we got to see on Saturday. So basically, Jake Fox and Albany are not a good team, okay? This Albany team has, I believe, 2-11 now? I want to make sure I have that correctly here. But the Albany Firewolves are now... Yeah, that was right. They're 2-11. Albany, how is Albany 2-11? The Rock are now 11-4, and they struggle. When I say struggled, in this game was like 6-2 early, or 6-3, and Albany made it close. It was 9-7 at one point, 10-8, 10-9, until Latrell Harris had a really good game, came in and did some stuff. Tom Schreiber, I said it before, and I'll say it again. I understand that the guy is a really good player and transition from field to box or box to field, whichever it was. The fact is, Tom Schreiber does not shoot the ball very well. Maybe because he takes a lot of outside shots, but he's shooting 18% and is letting them jokers fly. They're still 11-4, probably because he's a great all-around player and drops a lot of dimes. But he was not the greatest this week in Albany. And the Firewolves kept it to him. Doug Jameson, 47 more saves. I tweeted out this weekend from my personal account that, hey, it's sad that he's stuck in Albany. I don't care what he thinks about his family or his hometown. Come on, man. We want this league to expand. Guys like you got to get out. It's not his fault maybe that he didn't get traded. But we got to start with this home stuff. He lives here. I don't care. Keegan Ball is tied with Vancouver. I don't care. I have no care whatsoever because the league wants to grow. And we're just going to sit here and just stay in Georgia, Lyle Thompson, stay in Vancouver, Keegan Ball, stay in Saskatchewan, Mark Matthews and the whole crew. You're going to stink. And the Seals loaded up this year, and they look pretty good, don't they? Now, I know the Bandits won this game. I know the Bandits won their game, but it's like, Doug Jamieson is stuck in Albany. It's sad. It's sad. The Thunderbirds, in what was our game of the week, defeated the Wings 14-10. That was a heck of a game. The Wings would not go away. It was like super physical. And when I say physical, have you guys seen the face-off? Because I teased that Trevor Baptiste and Jake Withers were two of the best in the business. Jake was like all-timer. And Trevor Baptiste, of course, has all the fans. These guys are like a 48-second face-off. NLL tweeted, I believe we got it on Daily Dive as well. But I could not believe it. Like, Jake Withers meant so much to what was going on in that game. And the 48-second face-off was capped off what was a great game. And Halifax's offense seems to be back the last few weeks. I know, like, for a good 5-week stretch, Halifax was not doing anything offensively. So we're going to find out very quickly what's going to happen in the next few weeks with them. But Halifax is now 7-7. Philadelphia drops to 6-8. Okay. Swarm and the Riptide, another great matchup. Except it wasn't for one team, because the Swarm are now 4-8. And I told you guys on Friday, the Swarm had more to lose because they had the one less loss. So they're now 4-8, and the Riptide are now 4-10. Big difference there. Okay. This is the first of a home and home. So next week on ESPN News, we can see these two face off again. But in this game, it wasn't pretty, because we got to see Lyle Thompson against Jeff Teat, and Jeff Teat let a bunch of things fly, and they didn't hit anything but a couple of glass walls. Okay. So in this game, Jeff Teat had 7 points, including 4 goals. Andrew Q had 9 points to lead the Swarm, as Lyle Thompson, 3 goals, 4 assists, 9 loose balls, only 3 turnovers. Again, I say only 3 turnovers because I keep telling you guys, Jeff Teat has a bunch of turnovers. And Jeff Teat in this game had 9 turnovers. So remember at the beginning of the season with Renee Washington, when I would tell her about these turnovers and there was a problem? Well, now it's Jeff Teat's problem. And you can say, well, he's leading the league in points. That's fantastic. But the issue with that is when you're letting a bunch of things fly and like a bunch of guys are double teaming, you have nowhere to go, or you choose not to go and you try to trust yourself. Lyle Thompson stopped doing that for 4 games. And they've won all 4 games. I'm just saying, look at those turnover numbers for Lyle Thompson compared to now. Great job. Another game I want to get to. Mammoth are not who we thought they were. They lost to the Warriors, who packed out the stadium. And Desert Dogs got another win. We can crap all over what they did with the attendance numbers this weekend, but I'm just going to say now, Desert Dogs look good again. Rob Hellier had 7 points in this game. And Rob Hellier, by the way, 9 points in 7 dimes. So impressive. Was he a star of the week, though? That's coming up next on Daily Dive. Don't go anywhere. We'll wrap it up next. Last brew presented by B-Res Coffee Company, code Daily Dive. Shop the great coffee flavors, and when you check out code Daily Dive is what helps us a ton. 3 stars of the weekend. I love this so much. So number 1, let's do it. Let's talk about it again. It is Rob Hellier with 7 more dimes, 2 goals and 9 points as Desert Dogs knocked off the Rochester Nighthawks. Number 2. And by the way, Rochester's struggling once again. Gets Ron Hartley early. That's what happens. Okay. Number 2, Matt Vince. As great as Frank Scigliano was, he was not good enough. Matt Vince shut the door on the Seals. The Seals tried so hard to break that game open. They could not. Matt Vince held serve, and then in overtime, he held serve again. And guess what happened? The Bandits won on the road in San Diego. Wait, you mean a team lost on a back-to-back? We got to stop doing that. And finally, third star after Matt Vince and Rob Hellier, let's give it to Lyle Thompson. Had another great game with only 3 turnovers compared to Jeff Teat, who had 9 turnovers. He won the battle of Jeff Teat versus Lyle Thompson. I don't want to say it's a half star because it's not fair, but Jake Withers outperforming Trevor Baptiste has got to be, that was awesome. The 48-second faceoff was absolutely clutch. I thought the league needed that in a game like that. The game was so physical between Halifax and Philadelphia. I loved every second of that game. Philadelphia would not go away. Halifax was playing dirty and rough. I loved it. But Jake Withers, man, won a bunch more faceoff. This dude's the faceoff machine. I want to get those exact numbers for Jake Withers. I know they don't really have those faceoff numbers every single game, but I know we get the loose ball numbers. So let's go over the loose ball numbers on Jake Withers and Trevor Baptiste here, okay? Well, faceoff numbers, 18-10. Sorry, Jake. Sorry, Trevor Baptiste. You might be the face of the PLL, not here. Ask Paul Rabel about Trevor. I'm kidding. Let me shut up. Thunderbirds, let's see here. Jake Withers. We got 8 loose balls from him. I know they don't recover their own. And Trevor Baptiste had 5 loose balls. So I told you guys Jake Withers is better. I know it's taboo, but he's putting up historic numbers once again. And that's our he's like our half, our star that doesn't glow. I don't know. I couldn't put him in there because Matt Vince played great. Rob Hellier played great. And Lyle Thompson played great in a big matchup. Okay? I'm sorry. I thought we had a good show. We're going to try to have someone on the show tomorrow. If you know what Tuesdays are, you know what I mean? But follow Daily Dive, LAX, Daily Dive LAX on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. You will thank me later. Help us grow the game by checking out the link tree in there as well. For everyone in our show that does a great job behind the scenes, for great guests, and for Renee Washington, I am Michael Carvalho saying have a great rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow for Tuesday's show. Daily Dive. Don't go anywhere. Bye.